Hello, and welcome to another edition of Mi3's Insight Series. I'm Randy Burton, and our topic today is all about how to strengthen your presentation skills to elevate your leadership impact. Now, given all the different internal and external audiences that marketing communicates, as well as has to influence, it's especially important for marketers to keep honing their presentation and communication skills. Now, we're lucky to have with us today Erin Bailey-Lake from IQ Communication, who coaches leaders around the globe on how to be better and more effective presenters and communicators. She's also co-author of the recently published book, Easy for You to Say, The Presentation Skills Handbook. I'd like to start us off with something I've observed in my 30 plus years of having information presented to me. And it's this: having challenges giving presentations, it's not just something that is isolated to those that may be starting out or early in their career. I've seen giving presentation as a challenge for people across all phases of a career. So, Erin, what have you seen as the most pervasive struggle or challenge that just people have with presentations?
Audience engagement. Are people really listening to you and hearing your message? That's the part that gives our most seasoned presenters anxiety still. But if you do it right, it's the most fun part. We've all seen really corny audience engagement, like who wants to make some money today? That is not what I mean. But actually giving the audience the chance to learn. I'll give you a personal example and then a corporate one. Yesterday, my 5-year-old son, Tom, had a play date, had a little friend over, and he said, "Ooh, we should get my plastic swords and sword fight." Now, I could have lectured him on we do not hit ladies with swords, and we don't do this and violent, and check with your friend first. But instead, I said, "Tommy, look at her body language. How does she feel about your idea?" He looked, and he said, "Scared." And then he suggested a different game. He had to go through the mental exercise of understanding. When we present, whether we're brand new to marketing or an executive, we have to remember that it's not a book report of our job, give me a star on my star chart. It's teaching the audience, giving them a chance to understand the insights, which they cannot do if they don't engage. The easiest way to do this in the corporate world is anytime you have a graph, a picture, a video, some kind of visual. Your audience is intelligent business people. Don't explain a graph to people. And here you see that we dropped in the second quarter and rose in the third. We're all looking at it. Turn to your audience and say, "Listen, Caleb, what do you observe about our progress this year?" And they look at it, they go through the mental exercise and articulate it. This is particularly helpful if you have an audience of widely different ranks and experience levels, because it gives the most senior person in the room a chance to give broader insight on the graph. It gives your newest folks a chance to point out something that maybe the others didn't see. It's a really nice team-building, relaxed exercise. Audience engagement is so much fun when you do it right. Just remember that if you're the only one talking, it's a book report and you're the only one learning.
I think we've all experienced the change since the pandemic, this giant shift of communicating and giving presentations through a screen. How have you seen Zoom and other virtual platforms really change the game on presenting? And how can we all become better at communicating virtually?
Can you believe it's 6 years into this new world? And many people have grown up in their careers doing this. Remember what we forget after so long of doing it. Use your body, even the parts of your body that we can't see. Ground your feet on the floor. Engage your core. Many people who have a lot of anxiety around presenting love virtual, and they think it's because the audience is not there physically, which is part of it. But also when you're seated, you are engaging your core, which is very comforting if you're feeling anxiety. Use your body on a scale of 1 to 10, or smiling. Put your head at the top of the screen. You cannot gesture if your head is down here. You don't have to keep all of your gestures in the virtual window either. If you have to go like this, you can tell what I'm doing. The more you engage your body, the more you engage your nervous system, which makes it easier for you to remember what to say and sound authentic. Another thing that helps, since you're virtual and the audience can't see what's around you, make a list of everyone's name who is in the presentation if it's 20 people or less, and drop their names in. If you're giving an example, oh, and Toby might experience this. And remember to email the person in advance if they have a name that you're not familiar with and say, is this the correct pronunciation of your name? If you're wrong, they will correct you. If you're right, they will be delighted. That's something that's hard to do with a live audience where you may not have their names in advance. Use pictures in your virtual presentation that people recognize. Everybody likes to sit down to a Zoom call and it's the same rehearsed thing that they know you did for 10 other groups. If you take 5 minutes and swap out the pictures for this company or this industry, it really makes a difference. One of my favorite people to coach, she was a very, very high up executive delivering this gorgeous presentation that she was going to deliver in Asia. And I said to her, let's just pretend that her name was Maxie. I said, Maxie, you're delivering this in Asia, and these look like North American pictures. Could we take 5 minutes and swap them out? And she did, without changing any of the way that she was presenting. You can imagine how much more it resonated with the audience because it looked like she prepared it for them. I could go on all day, but my last note about presenting virtually for us today is timing matters more virtually than it does live. When you are live, there's a certain energy in the room when we're all together. Virtually, if it's 3 o'clock on a Friday, especially the Friday of a holiday weekend, you could be the greatest presenter of all time. The energy is dropping and they're watching the clock. We have to be more selective about when we're doing these virtual presentations where the audience is listening for a long time. I hope that helps.
That was great. I think very helpful. Now, we've talked about this in previous episodes, but it's so important to emphasize how impactful it can be to work with a coach and expert when you're ready to make meaningful improvements in your skills. I still remember working with IQ when I started working at J&J, and I found myself having to stand up and present to the board, executive leaders, sometimes the entire sales force. Working with a coach, it made a huge difference in my confidence and, quite frankly, in my career. What do you hear most often from clients you work with about the impact of improving presentation or communication skills and the impact that's had on them personally?
Sure. What we hear from clients is, oh, I sound like me. There's this corporate expression, you don't want to sound rehearsed. And people hear that and they think, oh, I shouldn't practice too much then. That's not actually what the audience is experiencing in that moment. First means you are reciting a script that doesn't sound like you had to rehearse it. A good coach will help you sound like you. They will hear what you do well naturally and bring it to the presentation. A Southerner with a beautiful Southern drawl should not sound the same delivering the company's finance numbers as a New Yorker doing it. Same script, same presentation, they should sound different. I worked for a guy in New York when I was about 18 who was from the most beautiful part of Kentucky where they have that musical bluegrass accent. His name was Joe. And he came to talk to the interns one day and said, imagine this in a bluegrass accent. I can't do it. People tell me here in New York to change my accent. I won't do it. This is me, and you all be you. What a beautiful thing for a CEO to tell a bunch of 18, 19-year-old interns. When you work with a coach, they will hear the phrases that feel natural to you, the rhythms that feel natural to you. They will hear where you are shying away and part of the script isn't sounding authentic. A career marketer should sound different than someone who came to marketing from engineering. I worked a little while ago with a woman named Becky who had to deliver some bad news to her company, unfortunately. And she had used ChatGPT to write her first draft because she was so sad about having to deliver this information. Now, ChatGPT has a warm it up prompt, and she had done that, but when she read it to me, it just didn't sound like her. I know her to be very empathetic and concise. Is that not a rare combination, to be empathetic and concise? We took that script, we said, thank you, ChatGPT, we got this. And we had Becky just say it raw to me and then pulled out the spots that really resonated to elevate. And then once you've done that, once you've written your script with your voice, you yourself or ChatGPT can shorten it for you. But you have to start with your own voice, and that's the best thing a coach can help you do. A coach can also help you work through any past bad experiences that still may be showing up, any fears that you have, and most importantly, strategize the audience. This might be a great presentation for mid-level marketers, but if you are going to the C-suite, you may need to bring it up a notch. And that is what clients tell us the most that they appreciate.
That's all the time we have for today. I want to thank Erin again for being with us and sharing so much on how we can all become better presenters and communicators. Now, if you'd like to contact Erin to learn more about her coaching services or order her new book, see all the information on the screen for detail.